General Martok almost got his brachial artery severed in a training exercise. Cadet Nog is helping Lieutenant Commander Worf fix the Defiant, and Lieutenant Commander Dax says the quintessential first officer is an uncaring, hard-nosed autocrat. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very serious episode of the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
Doesn't get much more serious than that. We are joined today by Malissa Longo. It's a Nog episode.
Hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and I've got prune juice in my future.
Oh, all right. That's a lot.
How you guys doing
serious
today?
Whoa.
Oh, gosh.
Take two.
Run that back again.
Today we're doing a review of Deep Space Nine Season 5, Episode 21, Soldiers of the Empire, written by Ronald D. Moore, directed by Mr. LeVar Burton. Episode air date was April 28th, 1997. Where were you?
Recording another episode.
We know what you were up to. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to our good friends at Lambda Quadrant. Lambda Quadrant is an LGBTQ safe Star Trek group for everybody. I'm wearing this awesome shirt by them.
Yay.
Nice.
They hooked that up at Star Trek Las Vegas. Actually, it's finally less than 100 degrees today in LA, so I can debut my Ethiopian scarf.
Oh, nice.
Ah, very nice.
There you go.
Because 91 degrees is scarf weather here in LA.
Right around there.
So, very big shout out to our friends at Lambda Quadrant, and very special thanks to you, Mr. Cirroc Lofton, for bringing this back all the way from Ethiopia. It still smells like Ethiopia, I think. No.
Yeah.
But it did.
Yet. It's worn out. It did at one point. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that. I will cherish it forever.
Hooked me up with these green, yellow, red bracelets at the con, so I'm still rocking them. Thank you to them, Steph. Big shout out to you.
Show the shows.
Hooking it up. There it is. That's that green, yellow, red. These were basically designed for the fans to kind of let people know whether they were good with distance, social distance, and what distance to maintain. But since they made them in green, yellow, red, I figured I'd put them all together and make myself a little Ethiopian flag bandana to wear on my bracelet. So thank you very much to the Lambda Quadrant guys.
Plus, it means you're good with no touch, handshakes, hugs. You're like, I'm good with all of it.
Yeah, it was a confusing thing for people. Stop, go, slow down. I am not sure which one.
Well, this is it. It's time to talk about this episode entitled Soldiers of the Empire. What do you guys think of it?
As far as like the relationship between Dax and Worf, I thought it was a good way for them to show their relationship and how they communicate with each other. And I like the way Dax doesn't give up on trying to get her point across and how she goes about doing it with Worf. She's sensitive to, how he is. So she's playing to, certain elements that she knows could push his buttons. And I think for real, as a story for their relationship, it expands upon what we've seen them between the two of them. I've seen them fighting a lot with, just like doing these fight scenes. But to me, this shows a more intimate kind of understanding each other level that we hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
We also got a Nog sighting, right, Melissa?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. That was a special too. special moment seeing him on this one. I kind of didn't expect it, so it was great when it just popped up.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good scene. It was it felt like it was kind of an unintentional foreshadowing to the lower decks, because I could definitely see Nog being a lower decker,
Cadet Nog, yeah.
And working with his superiors and his reactions to Worf, which I liked that pairing too, of Nog and Worf together. Working together.
That's a great odd couple right there.
Yeah.
Because Worf still kind of, even though Nog is a Ferengi, even though Nog was a troublesome kid, even though Nog is a cadet, Worf still kind of respects him for the fact that, Nog gets like 100%. He's always yes, sir, and no, sir. And, there's a little bit of respect there. It was also great when, 2 6'4" Klingons are on either side of Nog, and he's just like, can I just get through here?
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Well, and Nog's also the first of his kind to be in Starfleet, so they've kind of got that in common as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, what I liked about that scene, there were a few moments there, and just knowing Aron, how he is as a person, that I think there's certain elements that he adds that are not written on the script, right? These are just things that he brings to his performance, why he makes certain choices in certain areas. One of the things that I think he brought to the table that I don't believe was in the script, and I have to double check, but it was a moment where Nog is talking with Worf. Worf is underneath the console, kind of digging up in there, so he can't see Nog, but he's talking to him. And Nog's like, yes, sir, sure, right? He's like, I want you to go down and reboot the system and download each program individually, right? And just basically all this tedious work. And you can see it's frustrating Nog because he's like, we did this already. Like, we're going to do it again, This is not working. And there's a moment where he reaches out his hands to like, I wish I could just choke you right now, right?
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, I know he added that in there. I know he was just like, this guy's getting under my skin so much. I just want to, And I felt like that was something that he made a personal choice on. It felt to me like Aron decided, this is I'm going to actually do a physical gesture to accentuate the way I feel. I can't prove that right now because I don't have the script in front of me and I don't know what it says, but it just feels like that's Aron taking it one step further and adding his own special touch in that scene.
Fun. Yeah. What do you think would have happened if Nog did actually grab Worf by the neck?
I would even go a step further. What would have happened if Worf saw Nog making steps, right?
That would have been funny. Yeah.
They could have added that in there, and that would have been a great line. Like, what was that you just did, Cadet? Nothing, sir. Just stretching my arms,
There we go. All better. I'm ready to recalibrate stuff now.
So that would have been a nice little call right there. I think that would have been funny because Worf would not take any of that. Clearly, he doesn't take no for an answer, and he doesn't like disobedience.
Right.
So that would have been a great moment they could have expanded on that, and literally called it out. But I just feel like that little touch is something that he added to the scene. Mm-hmm. And even further than that, we just mentioned the being stuck between 2 6'4" Klingons, right?
Yeah.
And in that scene, when he kind of is like, excuse me, sir, could I just slip by? Can you just scooch over a little bit so I can slide by here a bit? He does a little laugh at the end of that. And that's another thing that he has added to his character. It's like a nervous laugh, right? Like, like, can I slip by? Like, just, and he,
yeah.
and it was a great little touch, that little laugh at the end of that.
Yeah, it was so true to the moment, though. You know, you would feel, okay, can I just, come on.
Right. I can see you're having a private conversation here. You guys are talking about the future of the Klingon Empire. And if I can get out of the way, you guys can do your thing. Just let me get out of here. And, get back to not having to listen to Worf come up with stupid ideas.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was going to say, and I also noticed when Nog was leaving General Martok, I could hear his thought, Martok's thought, as he was leaving. I mean, he didn't say anything, but it was like, Ferengis.
Yeah.
And, it's just...
Right. Right.
He was a little confused, but kind of, amused by it as well. And annoyed. So there was a lot going on in that split second.
Right. And what was going on for me too was that it's cool to see, even if Aron only gets 1 or 2 scenes in an episode, it's great to see that character progression of, because remember at first they just needed his ears, and then they needed him for something else. And then they needed for his ears again. And then now he's kind of being integrated a little bit more. He's, he's still not like part of this main crew thing, but he's working his way up and they're showing it. So it's not like this stark difference when we see him on the Defiant, doing whatever he's going to be doing. We see the slow growth and I already forgot the word I'm looking for, but anyway, the
progression.
Yeah. That maybe that's the word. I don't even know anymore. but yeah, we're watching him grow, and it also shows how each officer will learn to eventually trust him because he's working with each one of them individually, bit by bit. So as time goes on, each one of them has kind of formulated a work relationship with him, which I think is also great to show.
Yeah, well, and it shows the building of that trust that they can count on him in a crisis, and he's proven that over and over again. And I do like that they sprinkle him in here and there, so it's not just okay. So now he's in Starfleet, and we're just not going to do anything else with that. It's the continuity that's really nice to see of Nog's journey too.
Yeah, and he also stands out because he's wearing the cadet uniform. It just kind of makes him stand out a lot, right? Because everybody's in their regular Starfleet stuff, and he's like the only cadet I see walking around. So it's not like there's hundreds of cadets walking around and he kind of blends in. He actually stands out because he's in the cadet uniform. So I think it's another special thing to see him kind of trying to work his way up. And you also respect him because he's working on all the aspects of the ship, right? He's literally in the minutia of everything. He's behind the panels. He's working with engineering with O'Brien. He's working with Worf. Like he basically can take the ship apart and put it back together, which is a skill that, not too many people have. So we're seeing that he's learning it from all facets. So when he does eventually become a captain, which we know later on, right?
Right.
We know that he is probably best suited because he's went through all of these steps and he's worked his way up, and he started from the bottom, and now he's he makes it to the top. And that a guy like that, it's like when you somebody's works their way up as an employee to the CEO of a company, right? They start in the mailroom and then they worked here, and now 20 years later they're the CEO of IBM or something.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain level of respect for those people because they know the intricacies, and they worked all the different levels, right? They did the fries, they did the burgers.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You respect those people because they know the value of each role in each cog in the wheel, and they don't just bark out orders to people, asking them to do something that they themselves wouldn't do. They are capable of doing it themselves and have done it themselves. So there's a certain level of respect that you give to somebody who's worked their way up in that kind of a way.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it's true. Like if somebody just kind of transfers in and they say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" and you can kind of tell that they don't really know what they're talking about. They're like, "That, just fix that thing that's whatever." Whereas somebody that's worked their way up, they could just be like, "Hey, can you do this?" "Oh, you're too busy. I'll do it." And they can go do it because they used to be the busboy, or they used to be the fry guy, or they used to be the PA. They know everything in and out. That's a great point. Earlier while we were talking about Nog's growth, something else kind of dawned on me. I shouldn't be thinking of other things while I'm talking about one thing, but but that's what happened. I was kind of reminded that with certain Star Trek episodes, when you have a main character going to a different planet or going to a different ship, they always are accompanied by a second member of the crew. The writers always want that extra person to be like their confidant or their guide or their friend. Like when O'Brien goes to court, in like the second season, you've got Odo there. When Odo goes to the Changeling planet, you've got Kira there, for example. They always figure out a way. The writers always figure out a way to bring a second person, because otherwise it's tough for that one character to kind of carry the main story. They always need like a second person to bounce things off of. They already have a relationship with. So it's obviously a really good and fun idea to bring Dax along, because we already know and love Dax, and it makes it a better story for us. But it also, works well with Worf, because he needs to be able to talk to somebody. Otherwise, we're going to be forced to believe that he's found a confidant in one of the Klingons that we just met 3 seconds ago, where he's like, like what are the characters' names? Leskit, I must speak with you about my feelings. He's not going to do that. But Dax, he can confide in her.
Well, and I think it was important that she is his Parmakai, because she does have a closeness with him and a way of speaking to him that nobody else is going to speak to him in that way. He kind of softens her around her, even when he's, trying to exert his dominance as a male Klingon. But, and she has the patience with him and the wisdom of 7 lifetimes to help him through these challenging moments, which I don't think any other member of the crew could have helped him as much as she did, especially with her experience with Klingons.
Do you think if she were Italian, she'd be his chicken Parmakai?
No, man, I knew something was coming. I just didn't know that was it.
You didn't know it was going to be that bad.
I didn't know that was going to come.
When Melissa said Parmakai, I was like, yum, sounds good.
Parmesan.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very sorry for derailing us.
Sorry, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Wow.
Wow. No, wow.
Wow.
It's funny when you said pairing. It made me think about, like these episodes that we've watched. And yes, that is a common theme for them to have a secondary character go along when they leave the planet, leave the station, or go on a trip. For example, I remember Dax and Kira were paired together one time to go on some research to, explore something. There's been many times where I can see that happening. Even in the later series now, with Discovery, they usually pair 2 people together when they're going somewhere and doing something. Even the animated series puts Boimler and Mariner together, or they put Shax and Freeman together. So there's always this pairing, and you're right about that. So it's just something I didn't pay attention to until you pointed that out in that way.
Which is smart, because there's always somebody there to be the id, as opposed to the ego. So there's always somebody to keep the other person grounded and saying, no, this isn't, it's probably, you're not approaching this in the best way. So I think that's a wonderful tool that they use to pair. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ryan.
Oh, no, I'm glad you did save me. I was actually just going to throw in Mariner with the chicken parmesan joke.
Oh,
God.
That's right, because it all works. So, boy, is it time for a break? It is time for a break. I am so, otherwise, boy, oh boy, would I love to explore that.
Chicken parmesan.
With Mariner.
With Mariner, yes.
Mariner sauce. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna compose myself. Cirroc's gonna slap me around. Melissa's gonna wave her finger, and then we're gonna get this ship righted and get right back on track. And we'll be right back on the 7th rule.